From choir to debate to theater, SDPB shines a spotlight on South Dakota's talented students through SDHSAA All-State Fine Arts programming. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. Every day, SDPB connects South Dakotans with stories that inform, inspire, and bring us together. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder.
Call the Public Utility Commission meeting to order. It is 9:30 a.m. on August 11th, right here in room 413 of the State Capitol building. This is Commissioner Nelson chairing. We've got Commissioners Fegan and Hansen present with us today. Is there a motion regarding the approval of the minutes from July 28th?
Move to approve.
All those in favor vote aye. Those opposed nay. Commissioner Hansen.
Aye.
Commissioner Fegan.
Fegan votes aye.
Nelson votes aye. Motion carries. Report on the status of consumer utility inquiries, and Ms. Deb Gregg is AWOL today, so we have Jenny first stepping in. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Commission received a total of 39 contacts since the last report was prepared for the July 28, 2026 Commission meeting. 6 contacts were related to telecommunication services. 22 contacts were related to electrical services. 3 contacts were related to natural gas service, 1 contact was related to wireless service, and 7 contacts were related to issues not regulated by the PUC. 879 of the 901 contacts received in 2026 have been resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? If not, Jenny, thank you. And I'm going to correct the record. Deb is not AWOL. She advised me well in advance she was going to be gone and Jenny was going to be stepping in. I think we can go through the agenda pretty well in order today. We'll start off with our telecom dockets, and the first thing that we're going to deal with is in the matter of the request for certification regarding the use of federal universal service support in a whole bunch of dockets. And we'll take all of those in one lump sum unless there's some need to sort one out. And the question ultimately is, shall the Commission provide a certification of the Federal Communications Commission and of the Universal Service Administration Company regarding the use of federal universal service support in each of the dockets? The first one we're going to take up, TC 26-008, in the matter of the request of Interstate Telecommunications Cooperative, formerly known as SS Telecom, for certification regarding its use of federal universal service support. Interstate.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. This is Ryan Taylor with Cutler Law Firm, appearing on behalf of Interstate Telecommunications Cooperative in its CLEC service territory. Interstate Telecommunications Cooperative is requesting that the Commission grant its request for certification to receive ETC funding during calendar year 2027. ITC will rely upon its petition as filed and its responses to any data requests which the staff have had. We're also available to answer any questions if there are any from the Commission or staff.
Thank you. Staff.
Thank you. This is Brittany Malhoff for staff. Staff has reviewed the filing and recommends the Commission provide a certification to the FCC and to USAC. Thank you.
Questions? Hearing none, we will go to TC 26-009 in the matter of the request of Interstate Telecommunications Cooperative for certification regarding its use of federal universal service support. Ryan.
Yes, this is Ryan Taylor with Cutler Law Firm. This request is for Interstate Telecommunications Cooperative in its ILEC service territory. Again, ITC is requesting that the Commission certify it for receipt of ETC funding during calendar year 2027. And either me or the General Manager of Interstate Telecommunications Cooperative, Tracy Bandemer, are available to answer any questions if the Commission or staff have any. If there are no questions, ITC will rely upon its petition as filed.
Thank you. Staff.
Thank you. This is Brittany Malhoff for staff. Staff has reviewed the filing and recommends the Commission provide a certification to the FCC and to USAC. Thank you.
Questions? Hearing none, we'll go to TC 26-019 in the matter of the request of Quest Corporation doing business as CenturyLink for certification regarding its use of federal universal service support. Mr. Gutierrez.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners. This is Rick Gutierrez, Director of Regulatory Affairs for Lumen Technologies. CenturyLink filed its request for ETC certification middle of June, responded to additional data request inquiries, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have in addition to those facts that were submitted in support of the application and certification.
Thank you. Staff.
Thank you. This is Eric Paulson for staff. Staff has reviewed the filing and recommends the Commission issue a certification to FCC and USAC. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Fegan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Eric Paulson, for your data request. The data request I want to talk about is 1.3, and it's in confidential, so we probably want to hold CenturyLink until the end. It's 1.3 data requests, all matters to explain the cause of the outages.
Okay, and we'll hold that just till the end of this, not the end of the meeting, just the end of these.
I don't know, because I have to go to confidential, so I
Yeah,
don't know
let's
how you
just,
want to do.
we'll hold it to the, maybe get all the rest of them taken care of, and then we can do that one
So
separately.
do 2 votes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
sounds good.
Yep. Good. Other questions? I have one that can be done in open session. Mr. Gutierrez, so with this filing, you laid out your 2-year plan, and nowhere in that plan did it talk about probably the most substantive part of your plans for the next couple of years, and that is to begin abandoning wire centers in South Dakota. And so if you could maybe take this time to, explain a little bit about what your plans are in that regard.
Sure. Thanks for the question, Chairman. The company is not abandoning all wire centers and all customers in South Dakota. There are specific areas with low customer counts, high cost of copper repair and service in certain areas. And so we're trying to be thoughtful about which of these wire centers we retire and migrate to modern technologies. The main issue is we don't want to strand South Dakota customers on aging technology, on older service, when there are modern technologies available. And we still have expense and maintenance on those facilities until those customers have left us or migrated to our newer technology. And then there's expense, although less expense, in maintaining those customers as well. So we're trying to be thoughtful about those areas that we retire. But still, Chairman, there are many wire centers that are be maintained, and those have been identified in our estimates for spend going forward.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So could you give us an idea of what wire centers at this point you're planning to begin retirement?
We've only identified one wire center initially in South Dakota. The others, we haven't identified any others. I think Madison is the one we've discussed with you.
Okay, thank you. And for the retirement of the Madison Wire Center, and understand the reasonings that you've talked about, fully get that. When does CenturyLink plan to file the request with the Public Utility Commission for that retirement pursuant to SDCL 4931 3.1?
I haven't seen an exact date, Chairman, but the expectations that in general, for copper retirement across our different states, the initial ones would be September, October timeframe. There are other projects that are taking precedence in other states, and this Madison one, well, we're still working with some of the enterprise customers to assure they have reliable service with us forward. So that's taken some time and pushed it out to September, October timeframe.
Okay, well, we will look forward to that filing in September, October. Greatly appreciate that discussion. Any other questions? Understanding we will come back to confidential.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for asking that question today. I will have a lot more questions, but in a different filing.
Okay.
That topic.
Okay. With that, no more questions there, but we will come back around to that at the end. We'll go to TC 26-022 in the matter of the request of Venture Vision, Inc. for certification regarding its use of federal universal service support.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Ellie Bailey of the Ryder Rogers Law Firm, appearing this morning on behalf of Venture Vision Incorporated. We have Mr. Phage Andrew, General Manager, with us today to answer any questions, and also Janelle Jessen available on the phone. The company would rely on its previously filed materials and request that the Commission issue an appropriate certification to the FCC and USAC, and would certainly stand by for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Logan Shapar for staff. Staff has reviewed the docket and would recommend the Commission issue a certification to the FCC and USAC. Thank you.
Questions? Hearing none, we'll go to TC 26-023 in the matter of the request of Venture Communications Cooperative for certification regarding its use of federal universal service support.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Ellie Bailey of the Ryder Rogers Law Firm, appearing this morning on behalf of Venture Communications Cooperative. Again, Mr. Jandrew and Ms. Jessen are available for any questions the commissioners or staff may have. We would rely on our previously filed materials, and the company would request the commission issue an appropriate certification to the FCC and USAC, and we'd stand by for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Logan Shapauer for staff. Staff would recommend certification. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? And since Mr. Jandrew is here, if he would come forward, we know, obviously, the whole state knows that your home community of Highmore had a really tough issue here about a month ago, and I know it was tough for you and your staff and the company. Do you want to just share a little bit about how the company dealt with that?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Unfortunately, it had to be asked, right? June 29th was a tough day in Highmore, and it started about 6:15, 6:30 in the morning. Everyone received notice that big winds were coming, 130-mile-an-hour winds, as it turned out, and it caused massive destruction across our community. Anybody who's been through there knows what we've seen. For Venture itself, we got by all right. We lost a few garage doors. We lost a little bit of roofing material. Our storage facility lost some doors and some things like that, but nothing too damaging. Our network maintained operation throughout the entire thing. So we had our management team pulled together by about, our initial contact was about 6:30 in the morning, because we knew, as we were all hunkered in a basement, we knew when we came out that we were going to have to be dealing with this. We quickly touched base, gave everybody an opportunity to kind of assess not only organizational challenges, but also personal issues, and then reconvened about 7:30. At that point, we had assessed no power. Our generator was up and running. We got power back into our CO, made sure that we ensured communication for not only Highmore, but also our entire service area. Because Highmore's our hub, it was pretty critical that we maintained operation. So folks in Selby continued to be able to communicate. And so we worked through that. We closed our office for 2 days after that so that our folks could take care of some of their personal issues. I would say we had about 75%-ish of our workforce that had significant personal property damage and needed to give those folks time to deal with that. The remaining 25% of our staff, which weren't in Highmore, maintained operations. Just did a great job, stepped up, took care of other trouble tickets, other issues, other things that were going on. Kept us operational. And then we got back to work on Wednesday and got back to operation normal, maybe 10 or 15 Wednesdays from today, down the road a ways. But we're pulling our community back together. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being kind of a rock in your community.
Well, we sure tried.
Yeah. So how did, during the power outage, how did the batteries on the CPE fare? Did you have any complaints about those not lasting as long as people would have liked, or did that really work okay?
Since it was widespread power outage, I'm not sure that we didn't get any complaints. Let me start with that. But I think the reason we didn't get any is because the damage was so massive that everybody was dealing with other issues. We maintained communication to the cell tower, and the cell tower maintained operation. And so, for the most part, people were relying on that battery that was in that cell phone that was in their pocket, and so that's what kept us going. Power was restored to our CO almost 24 hours, if not right at 24 hours after losing it. And if you saw the level of devastation over there, that was amazing. They just did a great job. And so as soon as Wednesday, we started seeing customers coming back online. And of course, they were needing their services, communication services from us back inside those homes, broadband services, landline phone service. And so we started seeing those pretty quickly. We had, like I said, we had a handful of people in Highmore that were not as impacted. And so we were able to make them available to start restoring services as early as Wednesday morning and getting folks back online if they needed. A lot of it came up on its own, but there were plenty of trouble tickets too, you know, so we were out there trying to make sure that we took care of everybody. So,
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions?
I've dealt with a number of emergency ops centers and constructing them and practicing and all of that. Your being on the front line is one in communications is one of the most important, one of the most difficult areas with the EOCs. And I'm wondering, even in Sioux Falls, if there's a car accident, there's a crush of all the people that jump on their phone and start talking at the same time and explaining this very same thing. Did you experience that bit of a challenge with a lot of people? You know, the antennas can only handle so much at a time.
we actually fared pretty well. The level of disruption to service I would consider to be not noteworthy. So we were able to maintain communication through it. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, Faye, thank you for coming over and thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Okay, with that, let me just double check. Nicole Kroll, have you joined us on the line?
Yes, I did.
Excellent. Well, that means we are at TC 26-026 in the matter of the request of Jefferson Telephone Company for certification regarding its use of federal universal service support. Go ahead, Nicole. Oh, wait a minute. I need to look up. We're going to give Ellie a chance first.
Good morning again. Ellie Bailey of the Ryder Rogers Law Firm, appearing this morning on behalf of Jefferson Telephone Company. Also on the line, as you know, is Nicole Kroll, available to answer any questions. The company would rely on its previously filed materials and would request the Commission issue an appropriate certification to the FCC and USAC, and we would gladly stand by for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Logan Shapar for staff. Staff has reviewed the docket and would recommend the Commission issue a certification to the FCC and USAC. Thank you.
Questions? Okay, if not, but Nicole, thanks for being on. We're going to go to TC 26-027 in the matter of the request of Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Telephone Authority for certification regarding its use of federal universal service support.
Good morning. Ellie Bailey of the Ryder Rogers Law Firm, appearing on behalf of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Telephone Authority. Also on the line this morning to answer any questions is Assistant General Manager Ken Whiteeyes. We would rely on our previously filed materials, including responses to staff's data requests, and we would request the Commission issue an appropriate certification to the FCC and USAC, and we would stand by for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Staff.
Thank you. This is Eric Paulson for staff. Staff has reviewed the filing and recommends the Commission issue a certification to the FCC and USAC. Thank you.
Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Paulson, all your data requests today have developed questions for me. There's a confidential filing on the data request 1-3. Is there any updates to those outstanding items in that data request? Or is everything projected to be 12/31/26 in that data request? It's all confidential, so I'm trying not to go into confidential session.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Commissioner Fegan. Ellie Bailey for Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Telephone Authority. The information, the confidential information provided in the data request you're referencing is currently up to date.
Okay, so the time frame that you have in there is still what it is. Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
And Hallie, just stay there. Additional questions? Okay, my one question, so my understanding CRST has told the FCC that this commission has no jurisdiction over them, and yet here you are coming today asking us for something that we don't have jurisdiction over. Help me understand that apparent dichotomy.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Commissioner Nelson. Ellie Bailey on behalf of Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Telephone Authority. So you're correct that the Telephone Authority has a petition pending before the FCC asking that the FCC take jurisdiction. Obviously, the status quo as we sit here today and our request is that the South Dakota Public Utilities Commission issue ETC certification. In the data request, we indicated and updated the status of that FCC docket, which was a procedural filing essentially on April 28th, 2026. There is essentially in our discussions with the FCC kind of an inherent timing issue in terms of the calendar year and the time frame by which the FCC may act on the petition one way or the other. The ball is certainly in their court. But until the FCC makes a finding or a determination, we would continue to request that the South Dakota Public Utilities Commission issue an ETC designation. Thank you.
And so in making that request, you are acknowledging that today we do have jurisdiction to do this. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Commissioner. I think under the current status quo, I would agree that the South Dakota Public Utilities Commission at this time, without the FCC acting, is the appropriate body to issue the designation.
Thank you. Additional questions? Hearing none. We will go to TC 26-028 in the matter of the request of Mid-Continent Communications for certification regarding its use of federal universal support. And we'll go to Mid-Continent.
Good morning. Patrick McCann, appearing on behalf of Mid-Continent Communications. We are also appearing to request the Commission to grant Midco's request to receive ETC certification. We will rely upon our filing in the data response request we submitted. We are available for any questions.
Thank you. Staff.
Thank you. This is Eric Paulson for staff. Staff has reviewed the filing and recommends the Commission issue a certification to the FCC and USAC. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? And I've got one for Mr. McCann. So obviously Midco received a number of locations through the BEAD bid process to build out primarily in the Black Hills area. First, thank you for participating in that, for stepping forward and for bidding on those locations and working towards getting service there. So I guess my question is, can you give us a little idea of where you're at with a build-out plan? I talked to GOED a couple of months ago, and they really had no answer for that. And so I'm going to go directly to the company and see what you can tell me about that.
Yes, thank you. Again, Patrick McCann appearing on behalf of Mid-Continent Communications. We recently received our award letter for the state of South Dakota and got that signed. So I believe we have all of our paperwork in place here. Just continuing with the process on that. I anticipate they're probably 2027 builds. I don't think we've started any construction on any of them yet, just because we are waiting on the paperwork for the awards to begin the process. But no concerns with the size and the scope of the build. It'll be a relatively short one, from my understanding.
Excellent. And so 2027 is kind of your target year to do the build, from what I'm hearing, correct?
I think that's correct. I mean, we'll probably do any permitting, some initial kind of site work that we need to in 26 if we still have time. But I presume it will mostly be 2027.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate your sharing that. And again, greatly appreciate Midco stepping up. I've got several people that, in that area that have been begging me for years, when's somebody going to come? And you finally answered that question. And so thank you for that. Additional questions? Commissioner Fegan.
Thank you. Along that questioning, I think Commissioner Nelson asked most of my questions, and we are very happy. I remember last fall how we were all talking about where the funding's going to go, and I don't remember if that was announced in December or exactly when that was. Actually, in the information in the BEAD filing, it shows that you were starting, the projection date was April 1st of 26. So did that just mean the paperwork is going to be started then? And that's why you're moving it back to 27 or whatever?
Patrick McCann, appearing on behalf of Mid-Continent Communications. Again, did you say that that was April of 26 was the original date that was on there?
I think that's what I saw is 4/1 of 2026.
Thanks for the clarification. Again, Patrick McCann on behalf of Mid-Continent Communications. I think part of that was the original, there was this original BEAD process. It went back for this benefit of the bargain round. It's had some delays at the federal side just to actually get the final awards approved for the states. I know I recently signed the award within the last month. So I think if that April date was there, that was originally on, the first or second iteration of BEAD when we thought we were near the finish line. And now we're actually at the point where we have signed awards and we'll start that construction in 2027.
Oh, that's understandable, because South Dakota Connect probably was a little bit more timely in their responses, so that makes sense. And it's about 129 miles of buried fiber, right, in that area?
Off the top of my head, I don't have the exact amount.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for bidding. We are grateful, just like Commissioner Nelson said.
Yeah, and I'll just weigh in. The feds, I was kind of where you were at, Commissioner Fegan. I thought, once the plan went in, okay, we're ready to go, and the feds just hung it up and hung it up and hung it up, and so finally, apparently, we're over that hurdle, and they can get about doing what they need to do. So, excellent. Okay, with that, my understanding is that TC 26029, the Clarity Blue Peak docket, they could not be with us today, and so therefore we're going to defer that for a couple weeks. Patrick?
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, with that, is there a motion on all of these with the exception of CenturyLink and Clarity?
Mr. Chairman, in TC 26-008, 009, 022, 023, 026, 027, and 028. I move that the Commission provide a certification to the FCC and to the USAC regarding the use of federal universal service support for each of the dockets stated.
Discussion on the motion.
Thank you for the filings. We always enjoy going through these and appreciate the dialogue today. So thank you.
Additional discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Commissioner Hanson.
Aye.
Commissioner Fegan.
Fegan votes aye.
Nelson votes aye. Motion carries. Okay, at this point, we're going to go into a confidential session to finish up our questioning on TC 26-019. And so we'll be taking the audio feed offline.
From choir to debate to theater, SDPB shines a spotlight on South Dakota's talented students through SDHSAA All-State Fine Arts Programming. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. Every day, SDPB connects South Dakotans with stories that inform, inspire, and bring us together. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB is your home for fact-based journalism, connecting South Dakotans with news they can trust and stories that matter. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. From children's programs to in-depth documentaries, SDPB sparks curiosity and lifelong learning in every South Dakotan. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder.
Okay, for the listening public, we are now out of confidential session. If you were one that had dialed in earlier and still have dockets ahead of you, feel free to dial back in. And with that, is there a motion regarding TC 26-019? In TC 26-019, in the matter of the request of Quest Corporation doing business as CenturyLink QC for certification regarding its use of federal universal support. Before I go any further with the motion, Commissioner Fegan, did you want this deferred till we get the filing, or are we good today?
I think it would be nice if it would be deferred until we get that filing.
Okay.
Because we have time, right, Mr. Paulson?
Thank you. Yeah, this is Eric Paulson. Yeah, we have until the end of September to do all these certifications, but I think we have 2 or 3 meetings left.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
If we could do that, that'd be great.
I will withdraw my motion and defer this for the meeting in 2 weeks. Okay, that then brings us, and I'm going to check. Tyler Culbertson, have you rejoined us?
This is John Knight. I just rejoined. I'm not sure.
Okay, Tyler Culbertson, have you rejoined us? Yes, I'm here. I'm seeing a yes. Okay, with that, we'll go to EL 26-013 in the matter of the application of Montana Dakota Utilities, a subsidiary of MDU Resources Group, for approval of deferred accounting treatment for retirement of the Glen Ullin Station 6. And the question is, shall the commission authorize MDU to use deferred accounting for the accelerated depreciation and excess accumulated deferred income taxes related to the retirement of the Glen Ullin Station 6 generating station? We'll go to MDU.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Tyler Culbertson, Director of Regulatory Affairs, appearing on behalf of Montana Dakota Utilities. I also have Kelly Bergquist joining me for any questions. This application seeks authority for deferred accounting associated with the accelerated depreciation and excess accumulated deferred income taxes resulting from the retirement of the Glen Ullin Station 6 waste heat generation facility. The request addresses an unusual, non-recurring event and allows the commission to consider recovery of these costs in a future proceeding. We respectfully request approval of the application.
Staff.
Thank you. This is Brittany Malha for staff. Staff filed a memo in the docket and will rely on that. And staff will recommend the commission authorize MDU to use deferred accounting subject to the conditions stated in the memo. Thank you.
Questions? Commissioner Fegan.
I'll wait till you, do you have a question? I'll wait.
Okay. I've got one question for MDU. You know, we're always concerned about being proactive about preventing stranded assets. And so as I read this docket, the obvious question that was raised is why the contract that MDU had with the heat provider did not consider mechanisms to prevent this kind of a stranded asset. That appears to me just to be a gross oversight, but help me out.
Thank you for the question, Commissioner. I think that is something in hindsight that maybe would have been beneficial. It looks like the contract terms were initially set up for 20 years with a 5-year extension, and we had built our depreciation rates around that. I think part of the issue is that this generation facility isn't completely shutting down the compressor. It's being used less frequently, and so they are still generating and therefore not in breach of the contract, but it's just at a much reduced rate.
Thank you. I appreciate that response. And, you know, obviously today when we look at trying to prevent stranded assets, we look at situations where, you know, consumption does become greatly reduced. And in this case, it's where the heat provision is greatly reduced. And so we try to look forward and prevent these kind of things. I don't have any further questions other than if this is to be approved today, I would say to staff, you know, I think MDU's not executing a contract as tight as it should have been, needs to be considered down the road if they in fact ask for recovery of this. Additional questions, Commissioner Fegan.
Thanks for your question. And it's always that we get to do a full review on this. And so it will, doesn't certainly guarantee that this will be subject to recovery. Question for MDU on your amount of material. How did you determine that your amount that you're asking for is a material amount according to state law? How did you define material?
So in Montana, they use a 5% of net income materiality threshold. And I believe that South Dakota meets that materiality threshold as well.
So staff, would you agree with their assessment?
This is Brittany Malha for staff. Yes, well, this request is less material than some other ones we have seen. I still think it's appropriate for MDU to seek deferred accounting, and given the materiality threshold considered in Montana, I would expect that South Dakota would be in a similar situation, and therefore it would be the same amount of materiality. Here we don't have those specific criteria, but I think it's appropriate to consider along with all the other factors.
Thank you. So do you think it would possibly be a good idea? Do you get to look at their rate of return or their earnings report or anything like that so you know that this is, or we don't request that in law right now anyway, but to protect ratepayers, would that be something that maybe in the future we should look at?
Correct. We do not currently have a requirement for MDU to provide us earnings reports. However, through the course of other dockets in addition to this one, staff can gain a sense of, where the company is at with their earnings. If a company was, if we believed a company was greatly over-earning, I think that would be possibly a consideration with these types of requests. However, I have no reason to believe that MDU is over-earning at this time.
Thank you. Our staff always does a great job on looking at the facts down deep, and I appreciate your comments today, Brittany. Thank you.
Additional questions? Motions?
Mr. Chairman, in EL 26-013, I move that the Commission authorize Montana Dakota Utilities Company to use deferred accounting for the accelerated depreciation and excess accumulated deferred income taxes related to the retirement of the Glen Ullin Station 6 generating station.
Discussion on the motion.
Well, it was a unusual request. It was interesting, and I appreciate the staff doing the tough work to bring it to us in a concise fashion that we could get through quickly.
If I might ask a question, Commissioner Hanson, would you be amenable to adding to your motion that this, and maybe you did and I didn't hear it, that it also be subject to the 3 conditions recommended in staff's memo?
No, I did not, and thank you for catching that.
Okay, thank you. So we have a little bit expanded motion, additional discussion. I'm going to support this, understanding that it will be given a good review if recovery is requested at some point down the road. Additional discussion.
It brought me back to the days when I was doing federal and personal income tax returns, and I didn't like doing that, but it was a job I needed to do.
Very good. Okay, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Commissioner Hanson.
Aye.
Commissioner Fegan.
Fegan votes aye.
Nelson votes aye. Motion carries. I'm going to double check. James Moore, have you rejoined us?
I have, Commissioner.
And John Knight?
Yes.
And Ellie had signed up on this one. Was she not out? Okay. With that, we'll go to EL 26-014 in the matter of the application of Crown Ridge Energy Storage 1 LLC for a permit for an energy conversion facility. And the question is, shall the commission grant the joint motion for procedural schedule, or how shall the commission proceed? And I'm going to go to, since this is a kind of a joint motion, I'm going to go to staff first.
Thank you, Jenny. First for staff. I'll just start by saying staff has no objection to SDREA's adjustments on our schedule, and we would just request that our procedural schedule be granted with those adjustments of those 2 days, the March 10th to March 12th and March 15th to March 17th. Thank you.
And we'll go to Crown Ridge.
Thank you, Commissioner James Moore. On behalf of the applicant, we also have no objection to the requested changes by SDREA to the joint motion, to the proposed schedule and the joint motion. Thank you.
Thank you. The only intervener that I see on, well, actually, we got an intervener in the room. SDREA, we'll go to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Ellie Bailey of the Ryder Rogers Law Firm appearing this morning on behalf of the South Dakota Rural Electric Association. Thank you for the opportunity to address this. We would rely on our August 3rd filing requesting those 2 amendments, and thank you for your consideration, and thanks to staff and the applicant for their willingness to work with us.
Thank you. And we'll go to the last intervener that's online, and that would be Coddington Clark Electric Co-op.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. John Knight on behalf of Coddington Clark Electric Cooperative. We have no objection to the proposed schedule with the modifications requested by SDREA.
Thank you. And we'll go to questions, and I'm going to ask maybe just one. Commission Counsel has proposed that we also add to the schedule a pre-hearing conference to be held via MS Teams on March 18th at 3 p.m. Is there any objection from any of the parties to that? Okay, not hearing anything. Additional questions? Commissioner Fegan.
Thank you. Miss First, I'm going to be looking at you. So you know I got a little PTSD during the merger when all those exhibits were filed only a few days, and we didn't have a lot of time to look at everything. When I saw this amendment of 2 days, it nearly gave me, we don't have administrative law judges like other states. We don't have dozens and dozens of staff. I have a conflict on that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I can study all day Monday, but I have to, or Sunday, but I have to make sure that my binder is ready in advance. So this is a real struggle for one commissioner. It's easier for staff and parties because you guys get to see all the data requests. You get to see everything. I know this is a citing docket. So I don't know if there's anywhere way we can get everything on Monday, yet they can get a waiver if something's going on so that I can have my binder. This is just difficult for one commissioner, and if we had administrative law judges, great, but I don't.
Can I, Commissioner Fegan, if we were to suggest to everybody, please get your exhibits in by the deadline that was originally, that staff had proposed, but if something comes in that last 2 days, you can certainly add it. Is that workable?
So if we do that, like, I just have to make sure they get in, and because staff doesn't have the flexibility of the applicant to say, we want an extension. We want an extension on this docket. They don't have that. And so I just have to hear from all the people online that they're willing to do that so that I can study Tuesday and Wednesday and Sunday.
Commissioner Hanson.
A couple of things. I had no intention of speaking on this because I won't.
You're going to be gone.
I think you should deliver everything the last minute. I'm going to speak on behalf of whoever is going to replace me because they're going to be swimming in a world that they have no clue of, and they'll need as much time as they possibly can have. And I have memories of working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, just secluding myself in a place where I can just be working the entire time because of things are going to be demanding of us on a Tuesday, and we're getting all of this information. And then on Monday, all of a sudden, we receive a ream of information, and it's incredibly frustrating. And, of course, we've made some changes to that at this juncture, but speaking on behalf of whomever is going to be sitting in this chair in 2027, I think that it's really important to give that person the opportunity. And I was part of the negotiation when we changed the verbiage to allow the companies. They were very strident on, no, we don't want anybody else to have the right to extend this because it'll be abused, and we want this. However, I recognized at that time during those negotiations that, okay, we'll let you have that because the commission actually has that. The commission can simply say, hey, we got all this information at the last minute, and I'm going to have to vote no because we don't have enough time. And so we have that extension opportunity that it's not written in law, but if we say, I'm going to vote no because we don't have the information and what we have, too many questions, I can't support this. So at that juncture, the applicant's going to say, okay, we'll give you another month or two or whatever to do it. So keep that in mind that the commissioners actually have that opportunity.
Ms. Bailey, I got a question for you. So I see that SDREA had requested two changes. One is response to final discovery, which is not what we've been talking about here. But the one that's in contention here is the file the exhibits and the witness list. And I think you talked about because of the legislative calendar. Is the legislature meeting that week?
I know, and I don't have the calendar in front of me, but I know enough to know that we compared the legislative calendar with these dates, and that March 17th, from my recollection, is a non-session day. And it may just be that how it aligns with veto day. I don't recall off the top of my head, and I apologize, I don't have the calendar in front of me.
Okay, I just pulled it up, and the last regular day is the 11th, and veto day is the 31st. So that week of the 17th, there is no session.
Thank you for that recollection. I think the change was to the 12th, and then the 5 days between those two. Once the 12th was changed, then the 17th was bumped out as well. So if you look at the original proposal, March 10th to March 15th, so there was a request to change the 10th to the 12th, and then to continue that 5-day spread between those two deadlines.
Yep, I think what this is coming down to is, are the lawyers going to have to hustle or are the commissioners going to have to hustle? That's the bottom line here. Any additional questions? Commissioner Fegan.
So actually, I don't know exactly the outcome of citing dockets and rate cases and exhibits, or et cetera. After I saw the Northwestern merger, I was like, we need 2 weeks. And so we may have to do some just work on exhibits so we have plenty of time to do our job, unless we can get the legislature to pay for administrative law judges.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, motions. In EL 26-014, I move that we adopt the schedule as proposed by staff with two changes. One is that the response to final discovery be due on March 12th instead of the 10th, and that we add a pre-hearing conference to be held by MS Teams on March 18th, 2027 at 3 p.m. Central. Discussion on the motion. First of all, thanks to staff for working on coordinating and putting a schedule together. On Commissioner Fegan's issue, I mean, it literally is. Who's going to have to hustle? And I guess we're the ones making the motion, so hence my motion. And then obviously we need a pre-hearing conference with Commission Counsel. Additional discussion.
Thank you. I do have a question for staff on response to final discovery due. That you kept that for February for March 12th, right? And so for the applicant and staff, are you okay with that turnaround of Monday?
Jenny first for staff. We have no objection to that.
Okay. Applicant?
James Moore for Crown Ridge. We have no objection, Commissioner. That's fine.
Okay. So I am not afraid to work many, many hours and weekends and et cetera. It's just that I have a conflict on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So yeah, I just need a little extra. I need my normal time. Thank you.
Well, and I will say Commissioner Hansen's point about, I keep forgetting that Gary's not going to be here and it's going to be somebody new. And when he said that person's going to be swimming in a place they can't even conceive, he's absolutely right. And so that was a compelling argument, Commissioner Hansen.
You won.
Okay, additional discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Commissioner Hansen.
Aye.
Commissioner Fegan.
Fegan votes aye.
Nelson votes aye. Motion carries. Okay, that brings us to EL 26-020 in the matter of the filing by Mid-American Energy Company. And before I even go there, let me just check. Diane Votino, have you joined us?
Yes, I'm on.
Excellent. Sunny Jansen, have you joined us?
Yes, Commissioner.
Excellent. And Daniel, have you joined us?
Yes.
And Emily?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, we've got the whole Mid-Am crew. So in the matter of the filing of Mid-American Energy Company for approval of tariff revisions to its rates for cogeneration and small power production facilities, the question is, shall the Commission approve Mid-American's tariff revisions with an effective date of August 15th, 2026? Mr. Honeywell has joined us at the dais, so go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning. Cody Honeywell on behalf of Mid-American Energy Company. I am a late substitution for Mr. Kennecke today, and so we have a big group of folks online. I'm going to turn it over to Diane Votino, I believe, is going to speak to this, and she will be able to speak to the filing and answer any questions. Thank you.
Go ahead, Diane.
Hello, good morning. This is our biennial filing to update our rate QF rates. We have responded to staff data requests, and we would request that you approve our filing with an effective date of August 15th. And we're on the line if you have any questions. Thank you.
Staff.
Thank you, Chair Nelson. This is Joe Rizek with staff. Staff has reviewed the filing and the company responded to our data request. Staff would just recommend the Commission approve Mid-Am's tariff revisions with an effective date of August 15th, 2026. Thank you.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman, I think these were your favorite evidentiary hearings as avoided costs a few years back, but I just enjoyed this type of filing that I get to try to understand the avoided costs. Just a quick question and just a brief response. Could you tell me why the off-peak winter is a slight decrease? Everything else is an increase, the on-peak, summer, winter, summer, off-peak, but the winter off-peak is a slight decrease.
Sunny, is that something you can address?
Yes, I cannot tell you why. We use market prices, and there has been some shifting between on and off peak pricing as solar and wind come on the generation. So things have moved around, maybe not all completely up or down.
I was thinking maybe wind, but I didn't know. That's why I was checking on your information.
Yeah, and that was in the 2027 numbers. So like in the following year, it was the opposite, where the peak was down and the off peak was up. So there is some shifting between the on and off peak because of wind mainly.
Okay, thank you.
Additional questions? Motions.
Mr. Chairman, in EL, excuse me, 26-020, I move that the commission approve Mid-American's tariff revisions with an effective date of August 15, 2026.
Thank you. Discussion on the motion.
No.
Hearing none. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Commissioner Hanson.
Aye.
Commissioner Fegan.
Fegan votes aye.
Nelson votes aye. Motion carries. Brings us to NG 26-005 in the matter of Mid-American Energy Company's petition for extension of test period. And the question is, shall the commission approve the petition for extension of test period? I'm going to make an opening observation. I truly believe, and parties can comment on this, it appears to me that the question should be, shall the commission approve the petition for extension of filing deadline, as opposed to extending a test period? But I'll let the parties respond to that if they wish, and we will go to MDU, or excuse me, go to Mid-American.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good morning again. Cody Honeywell on behalf of Mid-American Energy Company. Again, I'm a late substitution for Brett Kennecke. I will turn it over to Emily Willits, who is on the line. I think she may be able to answer your question better than I can, quite frankly.
Thank you. Emily?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Emily Willits. I'm an attorney here at Mid-American. I have with me my colleague, Derek Nelson, who's our Director of Rates and Regulatory. Chair Nelson, in response to your question, I think you are correct. I think, our request is a request to extend the filing deadline beyond the 6-month window after the close of the test year. We are planning to file a natural gas rate case this month using a 2025 calendar year test year. And so we recognize our filing would be, just a couple of months beyond the close of that 6-month window. And if you have questions, happy to try to answer them. And my colleague, again, Derek Nelson, is here.
Thank you. Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is Amanda Reese for staff. Staff would agree with your revision that this is an extension of the filing deadline as opposed to the test period and has no objection to the request.
Thank you. Questions? Commissioner Fegan.
Thank you. And thank you for your filing on previous dockets that the commission has looked at a moving of the filing time. I went back to Otter Tails because you gave me that. They filed actually in May of 15th. And then I went back to the natural gas of 2014, and that was filed April 3rd. When I look at your filing date, it's after June 30th. And so your filing looks like a filing for forgiveness versus permission. Can you comment on that and why your filing date is after June 30th?
Yeah, good morning, Commissioner. This is Derek Nelson. I would say that that's an accurate observation. I guess some background on there. Mid-American has filed a number of rate cases in our different jurisdictions this year. At the beginning of the year, as we planned that out, we wanted to keep costs to a minimum by using internal resources for as much testimony as possible. And originally our plan was to file in South Dakota by the end of June. And as things came up and things took longer than we anticipated, we did see this get pushed back, and we lost sight of that 6-month period. And once we recognized that, we got this on file. Obviously wanted to request that extension before we filed, and I guess not necessarily ask for forgiveness, but ask for permission, realizing that we are asking even after the date that that 6 months has come and gone. So Our desire is to continue to keep our costs as low as we can by, not having to redo any of that. We do have a minimal amount of external witness testimony. Don't want to have to go back and change any of that. And, hoping this extension would not cause any more work for the commission or anybody else, but just allow us to continue forward with the test year of 2025. And, but yeah, I recognize that the filing for this was, done later than it should have been.
Thank you, Derek. And I think you make a good case, and I think the staff made sure that the commission can see your good case. What concerns me,
it was more of a, initially as we sat down and looked at all the MFRs and knew our timeline, we understood that, and we just lost sight of the 6-month requirement as things got delayed, and it wasn't until we kind of looked back at those things and realized that we filed it. But no, this filing itself is not, and how long it takes to file a request for extension is not the reason for this filing being done in July.
okay, thank you. And maybe it's because Mid-American isn't in front of us very often with rate cases. Could that be the case? And maybe that's a very good thing for our ratepayers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Additional questions? Motions. In NG 26-005, I move that the commission approve the petition for extension of the filing deadline. Discussion on the motion. Yeah, Commissioner Fegan, your question, it all of a sudden struck me. If we say no, they've got to change their entire, because they waited till after the middle of the year, they've got to change their test year. It's a pretty big deal. I think the other thing I would say, I greatly appreciate Mr. Koenigke's subsequent filing on the 4th that actually gave some justification, explained why this is here. Absent that, I think this would be a lot tougher question, but I appreciate him filling in some gaps there. Additional discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Commissioner Hanson.
Aye.
Commissioner Fegan.
Fegan votes aye.
And Nelson votes aye. Motion carries.
And hope more timeliness next time.
Well, the real problem is they're asking to raise rates too many places. I mean, there's a solution within their company for this problem. I don't see anybody present for public comment. And the only announcement, next regular meeting will be Tuesday, August 25th, 9:30 a.m. right here in room 413. And we know for sure we're going to be talking to Clarity and CenturyLink, among others. Anything else for the good of the order? Is there a motion?
Move to adjourn.
Those in favor will vote aye. Those opposed, nay. Commissioner Hanson.
Aye.
Commissioner Fegan.
Fegan votes aye.
Nelson votes aye. We are adjourned.
Experiences of South Dakotans, preserving our stories, our culture, and our sense of place. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder. As South Dakota's public media network, SDPB serves everyone with transparency, integrity, and commitment to open access. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB helps shape South Dakota's future by educating, informing, and inspiring the next generation of thinkers, leaders, and creators. SDPB. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB serves South Dakota through an interconnected communication system that is on 24/7, 365. The first place for Amber Alerts, public safety announcements, and EAS messages. SDPB keeps public servants and citizens informed. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB brings you closer to your government. With gavel-to-gavel coverage of the South Dakota legislature and in-depth reporting from peer. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. From early learners to lifelong students, SDPB inspires curiosity through trusted educational programs and resources for every stage of life. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. When South Dakotans need reliable information, SDPB is there providing updates and coverage that keep our communities safe and connected. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB celebrates South Dakota's student athletes with live coverage of SDHSAA state championships, sharing the excitement of hometown heroes. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder. From choir to debate to theater, SDPB shines a spotlight on South Dakota's talented students through SDHSAA All-State Fine Arts programming. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. Every day, SDPB connects South Dakotans with stories that inform, inspire, and bring us together. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB is your home for fact-based journalism, connecting South Dakotans with news they can trust and stories that matter. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. From children's programs to in-depth documentaries, SDPB sparks curiosity and lifelong learning in every South Dakotan. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB brings South Dakotans together, telling the stories that unite small towns, big ideas, and the people who make our state shine. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB shares the voices and experiences of South Dakotans, preserving our stories, our culture, and our sense of place. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder. As South Dakota's public media network, SDPB serves everyone with transparency, integrity, and commitment to open access. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB helps shape South Dakota's future by educating, informing, and inspiring the next generation of thinkers, leaders, and creators. SDPB. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB serves South Dakota through an interconnected communication system that is on 24/7, 365. The first place for Amber Alerts, public safety announcements, and EAS messages. SDPB keeps public servants and citizens informed. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB brings you closer to your government. With gavel-to-gavel coverage of the South Dakota legislature and in-depth reporting from Peer. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. From early learners to lifelong students, SDPB inspires curiosity through trusted educational programs and resources for every stage of life. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. When South Dakotans need reliable information, SDPB is there providing updates and coverage that keep our communities safe and connected. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB celebrates South Dakota's student athletes with live coverage of SDHSAA state championships, sharing the excitement of hometown heroes. SDPB. Good, useful, and full of wonder. From choir to debate to theater, SDPB shines a spotlight on South Dakota's talented students through SDHSAA All-State Fine Arts Programming. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. Every day, SDPB connects South Dakotans with stories that inform, inspire, and bring us together. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB is your home for fact-based journalism, connecting South Dakotans with news they can trust and stories that matter. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. From children's programs to in-depth documentaries, SDPB sparks curiosity and lifelong learning in every South Dakotan. SDPB. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB brings South Dakotans together, telling the stories that unite small towns, big ideas, and the people who make our state shine. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB shares the voices and experiences of South Dakotans, preserving our stories, our culture, and our sense of place. SDPB, good, useful, and full of wonder. As South Dakota's public media network, SDPB serves everyone with transparency, integrity, and commitment to open access. Good, useful, and full of wonder. SDPB. SDPB helps shape South Dakota's future by educating, informing, and inspiring the next generation of thinkers, leaders, and creators. SDPB. Good, useful, and full of wonder.